Hello everyone and welcome back to another brand new video. Now, as you have seen from the title, this video is going to be a Q&A video to celebrate reaching 1,000 subscribers. First, I would like to say thank you all for helping me get here this early, and a big thank you to everyone who also sent their questions. None of this would be possible without you guys. Now, I actually don't have many things to say for this intro, but my birthday is going to be coming up very soon, so that's gonna be super exciting. And I'm also going to be starting my summer job next week, but by the time I post this, I'll already be a week into it, so I'll leave a message on the screen about how it all went since I cannot predict the future. But yeah, so many exciting things will be coming up soon that I wanted to share because I'm super excited about it all, so yeah. Other than that, you read the title. I also don't want this video to be too long, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so our first question comes from Animation Guy-77. They say, first off, congrats! Question number 1, are you planning on making Toon Squid tutorials because your animations are so smooth? Question number 2, what is your favorite indie animated pilot? And question number 3, milk then cereal or cereal then milk? Alright, to answer question number 1, yes, I am planning on making more Toon Squid videos since a lot of you guys have been wanting to see more, so expect more of those very soon. I just have a lot of other video ideas I want to do first so I can have a more diverse set of videos. To answer question number 2, my favorite indie animated pilot has to be The Amazing Digital Circus. I loved literally every second of it and have been hooked ever since. And to answer the third question, I pour in the cereal and then the milk. Our next question comes from my bestie, Panini. Alright, she says, congrats on 1K, BB. Okay, so a couple of things. Number 1, who inspired you to initially start making YouTube videos? If they are all from one community, what community inspired you the most overall? Number 2, if you had the ability to pitch a show of your choosing to any film, movie, series, or company, who would you choose? Indie studios included. And number 3, do you have any other projects you're working on? Eyebrows, wink, wonk. Alright, to answer question number 1, so I have a lot of people who inspired me to make YouTube videos. I'll put them on the screen because I doubt I'll be able to name everyone at the top of my head, but overall, it's been the art community for a really long time now. To answer question number 2, if I had the ability to pitch any show to any company, I'd probably go with Glitch since a lot of the mainstream companies have not been treating any of their shows well, especially animated ones, so I'd rather go with an indie studio who actually cares about what they're doing. And to answer your third question, yes, I am working on more video scripts and other character lore. That way I'll be able to share them in the future, if that counts. Also, the cat universe me and Conrad are working on. Our next question comes from Hinderwino 2600. They say, what gives you the motivation to make content? Congrats, by the way, on 1K, you deserve it. First of all, thank you so much, and the number one thing that motivates me to make content is you guys. You guys are extremely supportive, and I really appreciate it. Our next question comes from Minty-ish Weird. They say, congrats on 1K, you deserve it. Anyway, as for questions, number 1, what's your favorite animal? Number 2, what's your favorite thing to do with your OCs, like silly little doodles, angsty videos, roleplay, make them over and over again in literally any game with a character customization feature, and etc. Number 3, what got you into animation? Was there some beautiful, meaningful backstory, inspiration from your favorite shows, or did you wake up one day and say, I want to do that? Edit. Also, what's your favorite thing to draw? Hair, eyes? Alright, so to answer question number 1, my favorite animal is in fact dogs. They're literally the best creatures ever, I swear. Number 2, my favorite things to do with my OCs are actually all of the things you mentioned, except for role-playing since it's been a while since I've done it due to a lot of things, but that's another story for another day. Number 3, what got me into animation was mostly just watching cartoons and stuff on YouTube growing up, and it really made me want to also do things like that in the future, along with making stories and stuff. Nothing extremely beautiful or meaningful, but yeah, that's about it. And number 4, my favorite thing, in fact, is to draw hair. Alright, there's so many styles and textures you can draw, and it just brings everything about a character together, so I really love drawing hair. Our next question comes from another bestie of mine, Brittany, also Peep Green 1. Alright, she says, "Hi Pookie, congrats on 1K. Would you ever make a video about headcanons of your OCs?" First of all, thank you so much, Pookie, and to answer your question, absolutely. I'm definitely planning on doing this in the future once I introduce my OCs to you guys a lot more, and you guys have an idea of who they are and stuff like that, you know. Our next question comes from I'm Sharky Z. They say, "Congrats on 1K. Do you have any specific fandoms that inspired your art style? I always find it kinda interesting how different media can influence people's art, which even happened to me, LOL." Once again, thank you so much, and I completely agree. And to answer your question, yes, I'd say the fandoms would probably be Cuphead and Inside Job along with Vivzy Pop 2, I'll go ahead and say it, but her art was more of an inspiration for me in the past. I don't really take as much inspiration from it as much as I used to. Our next question comes from a good friend of mine, Plady2. Alright, they say, "Congratulations on the 1K. You can start earning money." Question, decided to keep a minimum of 3. Number 1, what type of music do you like? Number 2, what do you plan to do with your OCs in some sort of media? Number 3, what's the easiest process of a video? For some reason, the third question took so long to come up with, LOL. Thank you once again, and to answer your questions, number 1, honestly, I like any type of music as long as it sounds good, except for country music. Number 2, in the future, I do want to maybe make some animated shorts with them, along with my OCs, along with some cool stories and such, so I think that would be really fun. And number 3, I'd say the easiest process would probably be the editing or making the art of a video. Both are time consuming, but they are really easy and fun, so it's not really a headache for me, personally. Our next question comes from Nighty Bunny. They say, "Hi, questions if you're comfortable answering. Number 1, what are some inspirations? Number 2, what tools/tablet do you use? Number 3, some tips you wish you knew. And number 4, something about heritage. And okay, love your art, congratulations on 1K, yay!" Alright, so number 1, some inspirations of mine are shows like the ones I cited previously, like Inside Job and Viv and stuff like that, but newer ones have to be some artists I follow online. Number 2, the tools I use to make my art are a 7th generation iPad, which will probably change soon since once I start getting paid, and a fake Apple Pencil, which will also probably change soon. Number 3, some tips I wish I knew in the past would probably be using more references and maybe to try and be more confident in my line work, you know. And number 4, heritage, I'm Black, African American even. I don't know if that counts, but you know. Okay. Our next question comes from another bestie of mine, Ava the Art Cup. Alright, she asks, "Congrats on the 1K bestie. So proud of you. What pieces of media have inspired your art?" Alright, thank you so much, Pookie. And to answer your question, Cuphead, Panty and Stocking, Inside Job, The Amazing Digital Circus, and probably many more. Our next question comes from another good friend of mine, Erica the Fangirl. They say, "Alright, 1K. What is your most favorite art piece you've ever done and why?" Alright, so if I were to choose my most favorite art piece I've ever done, it would probably be Clyde's birthday art. I really love all the details and how this is a huge step up compared to the one I did a year prior, and it has all of my friends' OCs in it too, so that's another thing that makes me love it even more. Our next question comes from another bestie. All the bestie cameos. Okay. Alright. Toasty. Alright. They say, "Hi Hershia, Toasty here. Here is my question. How long have you been drawing digital art?" Alright. So I have been doing digital art ever since around 2020. So that makes it 5 years. Went from using a finger and a cracked phone to using an iPad with an actual pencil with no rubber attached. Our next question comes from Giovanni Cody 100. Surprised I was able to say that without having a stroke. Anyways, they say, "Hello, what was your older art styles look like compared to current?" Alright, so My older art style was a lot more stiffer looking, more straight lines, and a lot more simplistic designs, and most of my characters were white for some odd reason, and I used the same 2 eye shapes and head shapes. But now I have a lot more of a variety. I rarely draw humans anymore. I draw more body shapes now, different eye shapes, different species, and different head shapes, more sharper lines and more curves and more complex designs. Also, with my finished pieces, I have a better understanding of how shading works and my anatomy. My art had a really interesting transition, as you can see. Heck, if we want to go even more recently to my art in 2023, it was more chibi and more it was more chibi. I used bigger eyes and stuff like that. I drew the same 2 body types, same as always, but now I have more variety, so yay! Improvement! Alright, our next question comes from Flames of Wisdom 1. They say, when did you start to lock in with art? Alright, so I started locking in around 2021, which is the same year when I got my first iPad. At first it was hard to draw on it since I was too used to using my fingers on a tiny screen, but over time I got used to it and now I'm a pro. Our next question comes from Akit1. They ask, what do you do if you have art block problems, like not focusing on your art and animation? Alright, so when I struggle with art block, I usually just decide to take a break from art as a whole. Sometimes I do try to gaslight myself and say, hey, it's just a brain fart or something, but then I just accept it and try to distract myself and do other things such as writing or just playing games like Roblox. Our next question comes from Jojo Leafy. They ask, what's your favorite color? Yeah, I got nothing interesting to ask, sorry. Alright, it is A-okay. And to answer your question, my favorite color is in fact red. I think it's an interesting color and a lot of things I wear are in fact red. Our next question comes from FMations. I hope I'm saying that right. Alright, they ask, have you heard of the Object Show community? Alright, so yes, I have heard of the community. Nothing negative or anything like that. I've only just seen memes and clips from the show on TikTok. Our next question comes from Sadisticat21. They ask, what tips do you have for coming up with character lore and world building? Alright, so if I were to suggest a tip, I'd suggest taking inspiration from things that are similar to what you're trying to do, and if it's for things that are a lot more complex, then research is key, especially with original characters with more sensitive backstories and such. So if it's not the best tips, but I come up with most of my OC lore randomly or even just by listening to music. Maybe you could take that as a tip too. Same goes for world building. They just randomly pop up in my head. Our next question comes from Wacky Dirt. They asked, congrats! What's your favorite character from Cuphead? Thank you once again, and to answer your question, my favorite character from the franchise is in fact King Dice. I had a crazy obsession with him from 2019 to 2022. Those were in fact the best moments of my life. Our next question comes from Scully Tricky Bones 700. They ask, first of all, congrats on 1K. Question number 1, what is your favorite PlayStation PS2 game? Question number 2, did you play Ape Escape 3? Because Ape Escape 3 is one of my all-time favorite PlayStation 2 games. Question number 3, what is your favorite PlayStation villain? Mine is Spectre from Ape Escape franchise. Alright, thank you so much once again. And to answer your questions, number 1, I don't have any favorites since I've never seen gameplay or owned a PS2. Number 2, I haven't played the game before, but it does sound pretty fun. And 3, I don't have an exact favorite since my knowledge on any PS2 games is so little to none, so sorry about that. Our next question comes from Samadra's Girls, another super awesome person. That animation you did was peak. Okay, anyways, they say, OMG yes, congrats girl. By the way, my question is your favorite type of chocolate really Hershey's or is it for aesthetics? Alright, thank you once again, and to answer your question, yes, my favorite type of chocolate actually is Hershey's, specifically the cookies and cream ones. I could literally eat those for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and never get tired of them. Our next question is from Sadisticat-21 again. Alright, so they ask, I love your art. How do you come up with OC lore? thank you again. And to answer your question, most of the time lore ideas will just pop in my head like in the middle of a boring class or something, or when I'm listening to music, or even when I watch a show I really enjoy possibly. And, alright, our next question comes from Aurora the Little Fox, a oomphy of mine on Instagram. Alright, they say, congrats on 1K. What brushes do you use on your art? Alright, thank you once again. And the brushes I use for my art are the shell brush with the pressure all the way up for my sketches because I like my lines dark. And for my line art, I use the studio brush, along with using it for the shading and other things for my finished pieces. Our next question comes from the Perilous Imp, another oomphy. They say, is there any certain change you wish you saw on a certain TV show, movie, or a game? Alright, so the number one change I would have liked to see in a certain show would be in the Cuphead show when it comes to King Dice's screen time. Out of all 36 episodes of the show, King Dice only got 4 episodes. I know it has to be because of the voice actor Wayne Brady being a really busy man, or maybe Netflix couldn't exactly afford him. But I honestly would have preferred if they got some random guy off the street to voice him instead. That way he could get more episodes, aka more screen time. I mean, come on, the Devil's Henchman got way more screen time than him. King Dice is literally the fan favorite. But that might just be me from 2020 talking though. Our next question comes from Summerdraws Girls again. Alright, they say, do you like bananas? I'm such a good questioner. Alright. Absolutely. Bananas are delicious. I still prefer oranges though. I love oranges. And that is about all of the questions I've gotten. Once again, thank you all so much for sending me your questions. I enjoyed answering each and every last one of them. And now, let's get to the outro. And we have made it to the outro. If you have made it to the end of this video, I want you to leave a pizza emoji at the end of your comment and I'll give you a shout out in my next video. Now with all that being said, this is all I have for you all today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. There are a lot more amazing things to come and I'm super excited to share more with you all. I'll leave my socials in the description if you want to follow me on those, along with my Discord server if you'd like to join that as well. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!